Hey guys, this is Jeannie broadcasting live. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm in my office, so I don't want to be too loud this morning. But I decided to start these little talks by just kind of recapping training that I did a number of years ago that was designed to prepare missionaries, short-term, long-term, to go out on the field. But I also feel like it's really appropriate information for people who feel like they have a calling into ministry, and really just Christians that are trying to live out the things. Well, that worked well. Trying to live out the things that God has called you to do. So today I'm just going to start part one of that training or discussion, if you will, and that is going to be on giants. So we're going to talk about giants. There are 4 different animals in this training that we kind of talk about, and it's from a book that I'll actually bring in the next time so I can show you the cover, by Kelly O'Donnell. She's just taken a bunch of articles and put them together, and these 4 animals are based off one of the articles in that book, so I'll share that next time. Be sure to keep your eye out. But the first one is giants, and we read about giants periodically throughout the Old Testament, not a lot, but occasionally they come. And one of the places that we see giants talked about are in the life of David, right? We all know the story of David and Goliath, that first encounter that we know of with a giant, where he defeated that giant, no question asked. It took one stone and a sling, whoop, it was gone. Giant hit in the head. Somehow strategically that just laid the giant flat on the ground, and David defeated his first giant. Well, later in 1 Samuel, we run across a passage where David runs into giants again, David and his fighting men, and by this time David is king. There have already been a number of fights and victories with the Philistines, and David finds himself at war with Philistines, and they describe these Philistines also as giants. The language they use makes it clear that they're giants. In fact, at one point, one of the swords was even compared to Goliath's sword. So we know that he's fighting giants, and this time we see that David, he doesn't do so well. In fact, he's being defeated, and his people, his warriors, are concerned that if they don't get him off the field, Israel will not have a king. And so they take him off the field and they fight. They fight for him this time. And so this time David comes up against the giant, and for whatever reason, maybe it was the length of the battle, but for whatever reason, it was just too much for him this time. So David goes off to rest and to recuperate and to recover, and his fighting men come around and they defeat the giants. The giants are still defeated, but this time, instead of David doing it, it's David's men doing the defeating. And so those 2 examples we see, we have David winning, defeating Goliath, defeating the giant with one stone. It's miraculous, it's wonderful, it's fast. Yes, let no man decry the armies of God. And then we have this passage where David and his fighting men, David actually has to go rest, and his fighting men take over the giant. So they still beat the giants. But David didn't do it alone this time, and it wasn't this obvious supernatural manifestation. It wasn't with one stone. It wasn't quick. It wasn't easy. It was a lot. And as I share that, it's because there are giants that come against us in life. And there are days and there are moments when the grace of God is on us in such a way that we nail that giant and he goes down. He goes down in an instant. There is no question about it. And we worship and we praise and we celebrate. There are other giants that come into our life, and it's a lot harder. And we fight until we are exhausted and there is nothing left in us. And at those times, it really is appropriate for the warriors around us to say, go take a break. Rest. God has called you. God has created you for special things, and you are worth far too much to just burn out and die. So you go rest. We will fight for you. Together as a team, we are going to defeat these giants. And those are the giants, I think, that are the hardest for us, that intimidate us. Why can't I beat it immediately? Why does this addiction stay to the point where I feel like I have no control over it. It's the whole point of AA, right? Acknowledging that there's got to be a higher power that can help me because I can't. I don't have control over this. There are times when it might take the form of diseases or finances or closed doors where you've done everything you know how to do. You are fighting with your best skill and you are exhausted. It's okay to have a team of people come around. I have had that in this last season. I have seen giants at work in my life, and I have seen the community at work in my life in such beautiful ways. It's worth it. It's worth it to invest in those around you, to trust in those around you, to say, you know what, it's time for you to take a time out. You go rest. You go recuperate. We're going to fight for you. We're going to help supply your finances. We're going to pray for you. We're going to fight in the spiritual realm. We're going to fight in the physical realm. And together we will defeat these giants. If your call is going to take you away, maybe on the mission field, for me, it took me from Hawaii to Kentucky. My home base is in Hawaii. That's my spiritual family. And I moved away from them. But in this day and age, I have Skype, I have telephone, I have Facebook, so many ways for people to breathe into me and to help me fight the giants that I faced in this transition. And I believe that those people, your home base, if they're not there, don't leave. Don't start on this adventure until you've got at least 2 or 3 people that are your home base who will fight for you, who will pray for you. So, giants come up. Giants in the land, we will face them, we will conquer them. Sometimes we need to do that through community. Until next time, thanks so much for stopping in. Don't forget those hearts. I still don't know what they mean, but I'm happy when I see them. Thanks so much, guys. Until